Hey there, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if it is your first time here. My name is Erin, and today's video is an episode of Friday Sews, the weekly sewing catch-up started by Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room. This week I have very little sewing because the big thing I focused on this week was my Porter woven pack vest, which was done in collaboration with Stacey from Stacey J's Studio. That video came out on Wednesday, so check it out if you have not already seen it. I'll be sure to link it all of the places. So yeah, that was my big focus in the sewing room. And then I did work on my mother-in-law's Rhapsody blouse. Last week when I showed it to you, I had the yoke and the yoke lining attached to the back, and I was getting ready to attach the front to the yoke. So now it is attached, and I French seamed the sides, and then I just French seamed the underarm of the flutter sleeves I'm doing. So the next step is to attach them. Now the instructions have you French seam that underarm seam and then also down the sides, but then does not talk you through French seaming the arm side. I have French seamed arm sides before, but I've done them flat, and I wanted to be a big girl and do it like the real way this time because it is a woven garment, and I learned more in depth about why you should set in woven garments if it tells you to. Anyway, I'm still on the fence about whether you actually have to do it or not, but since this is a gift for someone, I'm gonna buck up and I'm going to French seam the arm side. A subscriber of mine a couple of weeks ago linked a video tutorial about how to do it, so I'm gonna watch that and do it. And I'm sure it's not hard, it's just not as easy as doing it flat. But I'm gonna do that next and then do the ties. I do want to add tassels to the ties, which Love Notions does have a tutorial on their channel for that. And then I think if there's time, I want to do a little bit of hand embroidery in the bottom, just kind of like a little logo, but that's time permitting. I have like a week and plenty to get it in the mail. So hopefully next week I will just have a picture of it to show you because it will be gone from my sewing room. That is all I've done sewing wise. I wanted to look through my white scraps of like quilting cottons to see if I had enough to do all the backing on my standing tall quilt top, but I have not looked at any of that. But another subscriber did comment and say, though I have all the pieces laid out on our guest bed that has a white sheet, she's like, well, the lazy part of me says just use the sheet, which the lazy part of me also loves that. So that is currently the leading idea, but I do want to do my due diligence and see if I have some white scraps. I'm sure I have at least a couple of like white fat quarters and things like that I can piece together for the sashing of that quilt. But I guess it's kind of leading into plans. I will be hopefully working on that and my mother-in-law's Rhapsody blouse, and then I did tape together the Petite Stitchery Dawson rash guard and swim shorts, I think is what it's called, for my daughter. And then I also taped together the Polly Woggles Fathom 5 rash guard. That's a free pattern that Christine from Christine Sews a Lot told me about, because the Petite Stitchery pattern is like cropped. The rash guard has a long sleeve option but does not have a long bodice option. It has this really cool color blocking. So I am going to lay all the color blocked pieces over the Fathom 5 bodice pieces and just kind of see how I can extend it to make the rash guard the length I want. Did I say what this is for? I'm sorry, it's been a day. It's for my toddler. I'm making her a swimsuit. I talked about this probably a couple weeks ago at this point. So I have all of that ready to go, and I just need to do the configuring on that before I cut the pieces out, and then I'll cut it and put that together. Those are my plans. There are a bajillion other things I want to do and will probably try to do, but for now, those are my plans. I was not in the sewing room a lot this week. I was actually staring at screens a lot this week because the Olympics started, and I love the Olympics. So I've been doing a lot of Olympic cross stitching and Olympic knitting. Now, I'm not competing in these events, just to clarify. The way it sounds, it's like I'm competing as a knitter, but I'm watching a lot of Olympics. You know, when we can. It's not like we're sitting here all day doing it. I would do that if I could. If I did not have a toddler that couldn't just sit in front of the TV all day because we don't let her, I would probably just watch the Olympics all day. And then Adam and I did start a show, Presumed Innocent, on Apple TV, that we've been kind of like binging through because it's really good. We have 2 more episodes left and hopefully we'll finish it tonight. So I've been doing a lot of cross stitching and knitting, which leads me to a cross stitching finish. This is Hello Petal. I started it in January and I just finished it. I had basically just the bottom part left and it's so cute. I'm sorry, it's so wrinkly. I need to press it and stuff. And then I need to figure out how I'm going to frame it because I clearly did an awful job of making sure there was enough border. I mean, it's gonna be toit, but I did that to myself. I didn't really, in my head, when I marked the center, I was thinking like, oh, I'll preserve as much as I can to use later, but like that really put me in a tight corner for framing it. So that is done. I'm so excited. I think I'm gonna wait on framing until I get them all done, but who knows how long that'll be, so I don't know. But I am currently kitting up, I love that phrase, kitting up everything for Hello Pumpkin because I finished this and Brady will sometimes help me with the cross stitch. She'll sit in my lap and I'll start the needle and then, I mean, they're blunt, they're tapestry needles. She'll push the end through and stuff like that. Or when I push it, pull it, push it back through back to the front, she'll grab it and pull it. So anyway, when I finished this, I showed her it was finished and I was like, look, Brady, we finished it. But then the next day when I was starting a different cross stitch, she came over and she was like, where'd the animals go? I'm like, Brady, we finished it. She's like, but where'd the animals go? So that was my sign that we need to start working on Hello Pumpkin together. So I cut the Ada and I am doing my flosses and stuff. This is my first time trying like a floss drop situation, so we'll see how I like that. The other cross stitch I was working on is the one that I showed you guys I got last week, which is Persephone from Carolyn Manning Designs Shooting Star Collection. I got it at my local needle craft shop. And I'm not sure about the colors. I did go pick them all up. I still don't know if I love them all together. I did change some of the colors, but not intentionally. It's because I grabbed the wrong ones and I couldn't be bothered to go back and get the like other shade, but I think it'll be fine. This one I did on bobbins, which is what I've done before for the Hello Petal and stuff. I've had bobbins, but I wanted to try a different system. I don't know, who cares? So I did start this and I've decided it's a full coverage, meaning like every square is covered, like it sounds, it's fully covered. So I'm doing the parking system. I don't know, it's like where you stitch and then instead of finishing a thread, you just like leave it chilling in the next spot you're gonna need it. Which I don't know, it's very satisfying because I wanna work it in 20 by 20 squares at a time. So that's what I have so far. This one's almost done. I have one more color. I need to work into it. I do already have one mistake, but because it is the lightest color, it's gonna be easy to just stitch over and fix. And I'm lazy and I'm not that serious about this. So I do like how it's coming out so far. I am liking it more in real life than in the picture on the pattern, for sure. So that is the cross stitch I've been doing. I'm just so happy. I'm having so much fun. And then I have done some knitting. So I found this pot holder pattern. Why did I want to say recipe? This pot holder recipe for a double knit pot holder. Now, Tiffany from Hoosier Handmade has talked about a similar one that is crocheted. So this is its cousin, the knit version. And it is a free pattern from Pearl Soho. I'll link it down below. It was my first time knitting in the round. It was my first time doing a cable cast on. Is that the correct term? And it was my first time doing a 3 needle bind off. So lots of new skills, but I love it. I don't know, it's so squishy. So the cotton I used, because it is a pot holder, right? So it has to be natural, is a friend sent it to me actually when I told her I was gonna make these pot holders. She was kind enough to send me the correct length circular needle I needed to knit it in the round. And then she sent me some of these cottons. It's Rowan DK hand knit cotton. Yeah, 100% cotton. So I have 3 colors. I have this bright red, this more subdued red, and then a really pretty pink. So I'm gonna make some more of those. I found this because I was looking through patterns. I have a bunch of free knitting patterns saved, but they're all like sweaters and hats and scarves and things that I don't need where I live for most of the year. So it's not like I need to make a bunch of sweaters or anything. And even working on my toddler's sweater, I've been working on a really cute rainbow striped sweater for her. Like, it's not even that big, but sometimes when I'm working on it, depending where I am, it gets hot because it's sitting on me. And even though it's not that big, it's the front or back of a toddler sweater, it's too much. So, I wanted something, I don't know, more applicable to where I live in the South. And I wanted a simple project that was not too bulky of a yarn that I could hopefully take with me when I go to Europe in a couple months. So I do want to bring some stuff to do with my hands, because I don't know what to do with my hands sometimes. So anyway, this was just a practice and it turned out really well. There's one really yucky spot. This is where I cast on and then where I like did my first couple rounds of knitting, and you can see that transition was rough. And I did also accidentally increase by 2 stitches by the time I made it to the end. I think in the beginning I had a couple unintentional yarn overs when I was like moving the stitch marker and stuff. So anyway, it came together. I think it looks really good. This is that 3 needle bind off. I don't know, I really like it. It makes me very happy. I want to make some more to just have as like gifts and stuff around the holiday season. Another subscriber of mine, I love talking to you guys. Another subscriber of mine a while ago when I first started talking about learning how to knit, she said that she has like it was like a washcloth or a dishcloth or something that she makes. And she's like, it's very simple. I just make them when I'm, sitting there wanting to knit something. And if it turns out well, I give it to someone. And if it doesn't, I keep it. Which I was like, I love that. That's a great idea. So this is kind of, I think, going to be my version of that, at least for right now. It was really, really fun. Really, honestly, pretty quick. Even for me, I'm new and slow, but I got it done in just a couple days without too much concentrated knitting time. So I will link this down below. Yeah, it just makes me really happy. I'm very proud of myself. I don't know why. I do know why, because I think it looks really good, even with the couple of mistakes, and I'm just so happy. Okay. That's it, you guys. I do want to sew more next week. I've just been like, I don't know, our schedule was off, and like, yeah, and that was the big thing this week. Our schedule was very off because of Adam's work schedule, and I just didn't come in here a lot, which I miss it. It was sad. But I'll come in here some more. I have kind of started thinking of things I want to make for our trip, but I think last week I mentioned I don't want to go too crazy with it. But I've just kind of been brainstorming a couple things in my noodle that I'll probably sit down and try to actually flesh out pretty soon. Figure out what I actually want to make and take. But life, other than that, I don't think I have anything to talk about. And like, oh, I got my hair done. There we go. That's a big life event. I went violet. It's kind of hard to tell in this lighting. People noticed in my Wednesday video and complimented it, which was so kind. I do like it. I got it cut too. It was so due for a cut. I like the color. It's weird to have my hair all be so dark again. And I do really, really, really miss the all over hot pink that I started with in January when I first went into like vibrant fashion color, as they call it, and away from my natural color. I really liked that all over pink. It's just a lot of maintenance, and a lot of maintenance and a lot of money. And I just was not good at keeping up on it. So maybe when I'm older and more mature, I'll go back to hot pink hair all over and actually be diligent about keeping it up. But I like this for now. Adam's the one who requested violet when I told him I was going to get my hair done. He asked if I wanted to do violet. So I did, and I like it. Yeah. That, I think, is the only significant thing that has happened this week. Everything else has just been, I don't know, boring and exhausting. But yeah. Like I said, that video came out on Wednesday with Stacey, which was very exciting. I will make sure to link it. Next week, I will hopefully not have a physical Rhapsody to show you. I will hopefully only have photos and maybe even a standing tall quilt top, but let's not get wild here. And I do, now that it's August, need to just This isn't gonna take long, but I do wanna get it done. The Quilt Who Was a Ghost kit I showed you guys last week from my local quilt shop. Just such a good supporter of small businesses. I do want to get this piece together pretty soon so that I'm not feeling too much pressure to get that done. And that is it. I don't know if I'm gonna do this next week. I'm not saying I'm gonna do it next week, but it is towards the front of my brain. Probably before Brady's swimsuit. I don't know. I'll do whatever my heart tells me I want to do. Now I'm just rambling. Okay, I was hoping to not have to edit this. So let's see if I can do a sign off without tripping over myself 17 times, which is what normally happens. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I look forward to hearing from you in the comments, and I will see you next week. Bye.